What's going on, everyone? It's kylecroese, and this is the Everything I Watch segment for September 2021. How's everybody doing? I am taking a break from the Horror-October challenge to give you guys some normal movie recommendations instead of some spooky ones. So I didn't watch too much in September, but I've got a few movies here that I can talk about in depth. First of all, podcast. Now, at the moment, we have a segment over there that is talking about the best of the year. Now, I'm talking movies, TV shows. We've got some anime recommendations over there if you want to check that out, if you're into that kind of stuff. I think there's some good recommendations over there. There's a lot of stuff people can get into. Fits everybody's tastes. It's a miniseries as well. What I thought as well from the latest seasons of TV shows, like I said. Anyway, you might like that kind of stuff. If you can check it out, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. But that's enough. Let's get into the September movies. First of all, I've got On the Beach at Night Alone. This is another film from Hong Sang-soo, who showed up on our August watch. And it also stars Kim and E again. And it's about an actress named Young Hee who wanders around a seaside town. And she ponders her relationship, maybe her relationships with friends, her relationships with her husband, with her work. This is shot also kind of like The Woman Who Ran. It's very low budget. It's very low budget looking, I'll say. It's a lot of conversations. It's pretty much just how it's shot. There is shot reverse shot. There is just a lot of double shots. There are a lot of double mids in there as well. It's just about a woman trying to figure out where she is in life and where she wants to go next, and just how she feels of her current place in the world. I found it very calming, just like Woman Who Ran. I think more so than The Woman Who Ran. I found it very calming. It has some very insightful conversations, like I said. My favorite would probably be the cafe one that she has with this guy. And there's some beautiful shots throughout. I've already saved a few that I wanted to have, I don't know, like as a picture or something, or as a painting, but it's a really beautiful one with her outside a cafe having a smoke. And again, it just made me just want to watch the rest of Hong Sang-soo's filmography. I think he's just a really chill filmmaker. I think these kind of movies really appeal to me. And if you like that kind of stuff, the kind of chill stuff, I think it'll appeal to you as well. Like I said, again, The Woman Who Ran from last time, and now the On the Beach at Night Alone. I'm really keen to just see what else he has. And if it is the same stuff, like I'm fine with that. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying this type of filmmaking, this kind of chilled approach, this kind of simple approach, but very effective approach that he employs when he does this kind of stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, check it out. It's very good. If you liked, and if you haven't checked out The Woman Who Ran from last time, I very much recommend that one as well. If you want to do a double feature of The Woman Who Ran and On the Beach at Night Alone, definitely give that a go. Annette is my next one here. This one is a bit of a different one, because this movie is odd. It stars Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, Simon Helberg, as you guys might know, Howard from Big Bang Theory, and it's a story about what is this movie about? It's a story about a stand-up comedian, an opera singer. So Adam Driver plays a stand-up comedian, Marion Cotillard plays an opera singer, and they have a baby named Annette, which is what the title is like named after, this baby. And all I can say is just like an extremely odd and strange saga follows after this baby is born. It's hard to talk about this movie without talking about spoilers, or it's because at the core of this movie is what you want to talk about. The strangeness, the scenes that play throughout this film is what you really want to talk about when you talk to people about it. And I can't really, without giving some slight spoilers, I can't really talk about this movie or my feelings about it without getting into that kind of stuff. So if you really care about slight spoilers, there'll be some time codes, so if you can skip to the next movie if you want to, but I just want to talk about a few things here. So first of all, before we get into spoilers, I'll just talk about some things that, that are not really that spoilerish. I think everyone really commits here. I love Adam Driver. I love even Marion Cotillard. I especially love Simon Helberg in this movie. I think he's really, really good. His relationship with Adam Driver's character and Marion Cotillard's character is very, very interesting, especially after a certain event happens throughout the film, which kind of brings the characters of Adam Driver's character. I don't want to say, I've already forgot, Henry's his name. And Henry and Simon Helberg's character together, and what happens with their relationship towards the end of the film. I think the film is like a comment on like celebrity, but I think specifically more on the exploitation of like a child or a talented child, and pretty much rorting them out of their own, pretty much using their talent to roar people out of money. And it's also like a jab at musicals, and I feel like this is just like an anti-musical because like all the songs are just like what they're thinking. It's almost like, I don't know, man. It's almost like what you're taught not to write when you're writing this kind of stuff. You're taught to think about subtext. You're taught to think about just, very terse language when you're writing. I mean, some writers especially. This is kind of just like saying what is ever on their mind. Every single song is just kind of like, this is what's happening now. This is what we're feeling. There is literally a song in this movie that is just like, we love each other so much. And it's just that over and over and over again. And I think it just has a lot to say, without getting into the strangeness of it. It has a lot to say about celebrity and definitely the exploitation of young talent or a talent that comes out of your kid, or if that goes into your offspring. I don't know. We could talk about that all day. I don't want to get it twisted though. This is not like a high drama. This is pretty inaccessible, I think, for most audiences. There are extremely weird scenes in this movie. There are these odd but hilarious like TMZ segments, elaborate sets, really odd stand-up routines from Adam Driver's character Henry, because he plays a stand-up comedian who's just very he's a shock comedian. This is where I'm going to talk about spoilers, like mild spoilers for a little bit. So if you want to just dodge all that, if you don't even know why this movie is called Annette, time codes in the description. You can just get to the next one if you want to. But let's talk about spoilers. The baby in this movie is a fucking doll. It's a doll. Annette, marionette. That's what the joke is. The baby is a fucking doll. And when you think about the casting as well, Marion Cotillard, Marionette, like I'm thinking like this was all like on purpose from Leos Carax's point of view. I did really appreciate how Carax does not mask that this is not a film, because as the movie starts, it's a musical number. Again, a very odd one, a very strange one, but it's a musical number. And he really lets you know that this is a movie. Like, this is not supposed to be taken seriously. This is a fucking movie. And this whole 2 hour and 20-minute runtime, you are going to watch a movie. So I appreciated that aspect. Yeah, this is the movie that has Adam Driver eating at Marion Cotillard while singing. So if you want any of that stuff, this is definitely the movie for you. I want to watch it again, but I'm not sure when, because it is kind of a strange watch, and it's pretty hard to get through at times. I think it has a few pacing issues, like in the middle. But I think I want to watch it again. It's like a kind of an enigma. I want to see it again. If you're into that stuff, especially if you like Carax's previous work. I haven't seen Holy Motors, but I've heard that's really good. But if you like Holy Motors, I think you're going to find something to like in Annette. But again, this is not that accessible for mainstream audiences. So don't go into this thinking this is a musical. This ain't a fucking musical. This is something like very, very different. I want to talk about Kate. So Kate is directed by Cedric Nicolas Troyan. It stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays an assassin named Kate, who is irreversibly poisoned and only has 24 hours to live. And she wants to find out who did it and get revenge, obviously. Well, on the journey, she bonds with a daughter of one of her previous targets, and they kind of have a strange relationship, and they have kind of hang out throughout the rest of the movie. So it's literally Crank meets John Wick. Think about it like that. This movie is basically Crank meets John Wick. I thought we had a really good lead performance here by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. There were some solid action sequences throughout, some wild cinematography. There's one scene in particular in a hideout that's just white walls and white sliding doors. I thought it was brilliant. The use of white with the red blood, I really enjoyed. And then it does this really weird, at the end, this camera does like a flip at the end, which I'm kind of like still on the fence with, like in terms of that scene, in terms of that sequence, but I appreciate like the ballsiness of doing that, just like fully flipping the camera like that when you're just going through like these kind of long takes throughout the film, and then just going like, all right, we're gonna go fucking balls out now. So I appreciated that, but I'm still kind of like on the fence about it. I don't know, on the rewatch. I also want to give a props to the makeup team for making Mary Elizabeth Winstead increasingly, I hate saying this because I love her, I love Mew, but increasingly gross as the movie goes on. Like, she gets weaker and weaker. Like, her skin is veiny. There's like blood. There's redness around her cheeks. Her face starts to look purple at some point. It looks like she has like a skin disease, like it's gonna pop out. Her veins gonna pop out of her head or her arms or anything like that. I thought it was really, really nice stuff. I say props to the makeup team for pulling that together. I want to get their names, but I don't have them at the moment. Very, very effective. So yes, it does feel like your typical revenge thriller, but I think in it, it's got this really nice cinematography. It's got some nice neon. I love a bit of neon. I love my actions in neon. I love that John Wick shit. And I thought the end was like, it's still effective. And the violence itself, it just has fun of itself, I think. I think this film would actually make a great double feature with, from this year, Gunpowder Milkshake. I think both of these movies could make a good double feature. I think they're both on Netflix, so you can chuck them on and have a night where just watch some ladies kick some ass. And I'm all for that. Yeah, had a fun time of it. And fucking Bandmaid's in this. Bandmaid is in this. Yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. All right, next is Malignant. This was the movie of the month. People were talking about this. People didn't know what to feel about it. And I finally watched it in September. This is directed by James Wan, who gave us the Conjuring franchise, Insidious franchise. Aquaman recently made $1 billion with that motherfucker. And now he's giving us Malignant. His latest offering is Malignant. It stars Annabelle Wallace as a woman named Madison who's starting to have horrifying visions and then soon realizes they may be real. The less I say about this movie, the better. Now, I talked about this on my podcast when I went more in depth with it. And I also don't want to give too much away, like I said before. So I'll just leave a few thoughts here. Just if you want to check it out. Before I get into it though, check it out. This movie's batshit insane. Check it out. I don't think this is a bad movie. Like at all. I don't think it's a bad movie. I fully believe this is all intentional on James Wan's part. The opening sequence alone tells you straight away what you're in for, what to expect. It takes place... The opening scene is so melodramatic and so over the top that there is no way you could think this is a serious movie. There is no way, unless it's a bad filmmaker. But it's James Wan. You know he can do good. So there's no way this could be on purpose. This could be, unintentionally a bad movie. Because you get all of the things I mentioned earlier, like the sleek cinematography, the house that he seems to always film in. I mean, are they all different? I don't know. But then you get the performances and the campy horror schlock that comes from like a B movie. The third act, like I said, is fucking insane. But I'm not going to say anything about it. It is as batshit as everyone is calling it. So go in blind with this one. And you will have a good time. I swear to God, you'll have a good time. And I can't wait for a rewatch. This is definitely one you're going to want to sit down again with a few friends and have a few beers and just have a good time. So if you want to check this one out, this is playing on HBO Max at the moment, I think. I don't know if it's gone anywhere, but that's where it premiered. But it's also coming out in cinemas here in Australia, Newcastle especially. It's coming out in cinemas. I think it's out today. I think it's out today, or I think it comes out next week. So if you want to check it out and have that theater experience with everyone in the crowd, I think that'll be fun. So you could probably watch it then. All right, next I want to talk about Candyman. Now, this is the brand new iteration of Candyman. This is a follow-up to the first Candyman, and this version is directed by Annette and it's partly written by Jordan Peele, who gave us Get Out, Us. It stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen as a man named Anthony who is an artist in Cabrini Green, Chicago. After he has an encounter with an older man, played by Coleman Domingo, his sanity begins to unravel, and an urban myth starts becoming terrifyingly true. It's Candyman's story. If you've seen Candyman before, you know what's going to happen. You know you kind of get, but this one is kind of like a modern play on that. Unfortunately, though, I wanted to like this more than I actually did, but I ultimately came away from it with diminishing returns. But first of all, I want to talk some positives. I think Nia DaCosta's direction shines throughout. The visuals are beautiful, particularly any scene involving a mirror never failed to excite me. I think what she does with mirrors is very innovative and very fun, very exciting throughout the film. The camera is also just so poised too. It's so well shot. I just want to shout out the opening credits as well. I don't know how that was done. I believe it was just like a camera flipped upside down and showing the skyscrapers and everything. I think that's how it's done. If anyone else has anything different to say on that, let me know. But I fucking love the opening credits. I thought they were amazing. And yeah, probably my favorite opening credits of the year so far. And the animations with the shadow puppets throughout the film when they're talking about the myth of Candyman were also just so creative, and especially the end credits, especially they looked so great. It reminds me of the Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows story when they're talking about the three brothers. It very much reminded me of that, and that when you're talking about the visual aesthetic with that, that's what you're going to get with the shadow puppet sequences. And I thought they were good. I thought they were like nice. It was very storybook-like, and I really appreciated that. The performances as well, all round, are really good. Yahya is really good. Tiana Paris especially is really good. We just saw her in WandaVision. She playing Monica Rambeau, but she is also just a standout. She was definitely a standout as Anthony's partner in this movie, who also works as an art gallery. I think she's a curator. But yeah, I thought she was great. And that's, I think, where everything stops for me. Like, the positives stop. So this is where I'm going to get into my negatives. And unfortunately, I think the negatives, the script and the story, I think are the biggest victims here. This movie, unfortunately, feels like it's been chopped to bits. Scenes don't feel cohesive at all, and it just comes in at the end as a bit of a mess. It just comes all together as a bit of a mess, especially as we move on into our third act, which I just think it gets so over the top out of nowhere. I just was not a fan of it. At the core, I feel like there are two themes trying to be explored here, but because the film wants to say something with both of these themes, and because it all just feels so disjointed and executed in such a way that makes the film feel unfocused. There's the theme of racial injustice, mistreatment of African Americans, gentrification, especially in urban areas. One particular scene that stood out to me is a scene where Anthony is comparing a photo of a church, where its previous photo is just this gorgeous, beautiful building with a mural all over it, and it just looks stunningly just creative. And then it's just been, the present image of the church is just this white paint all over the church that's just completely white, and apparently that's real. And what better way to symbolize that kind of white gentrification than that image alone? I thought that was very, very effective. So when it's talking about those kind of themes, I think it is being effective. But then on the other hand, throughout the film, you get this other theme of this tortured artist who is increasingly losing their sanity and grip on reality because of the whole Candyman lore and because of his obsession with this Candyman. And it has to fit inside the Candyman framework. And at times, that is also interesting. So the film is trying to say two things, have two themes, but its articulation of these themes comes off as unfocused, like I said before, because it is. We don't feel the full effect of either theme because they're trying to tackle both themes at once. They're trying to throw so many things at you at once. And so many films, I think, nowadays suffer from this. And particularly modern contemporary ones, where so many of them are trying to throw so many things at the wall and trying to make them all stick. And it kind of has let me down. I mean, it's not like fully disappointing me or anything, but it's kind of just let me down as a fan of Peele, because I really loved how subtle and effective, simply effective Get Out was. But then you move on to something like Us, which has a lot more content, a lot more stuff to take in. But the script itself feels like it's spoon-feeding its information. And that was one of the problems I had with Us, is that we were told too much, when with Get Out, we were just given a lot to think about instead of telling us to think about, telling us what to think about. If that makes any fucking sense, that's just how this is just how the thoughts are coming to me. But I think there's like a lesson here in screenwriting, which this is a tangent that I've just gone on now. I think there's a lesson here. I think you need to pick a theme and stick with it. And if you want to explore other little themes or sub-themes or anything like that, just make it a lot more subtle. Because I've just seen a lot more films this year that are just not doing that. They have one theme or a couple of themes, but in any of those themes that they're trying to give to you or trying to say something with those themes, the dialogue is so fucking in your face that you can't help but be just you kind of just refuse it and just say, stop fucking telling me this shit. Stop shoving it down my throat. Stop giving me the agenda like straight up. Subtly feed it to your audience, I feel. And just instill it deeper into your subtext. I think that's the lesson here with a script like this. I still think the movie is pretty good, but just because of this glaring issue alone I have with it, it just felt a little flat for me in the end. I think I gave it 3. Yeah. But if you like If you just want something to watch, I think this is still really nice to look at. The performances are effective, and the body horror is good too. But I just think the actual core themes of the story is just so jumbled and so disjointed that I just don't know what I was supposed to get out of this movie. And that was the problem I had with it. All right, next I checked out Escape Room 2. This is a Escape Room Tournament of Champions. This is the follow-up to Escape Room from 2018, I think, 2018. It starred Taylor Russell, Logan Miller, along with a bunch of other people, including Deborah Ann Wool. But this one just has Taylor Russell and Logan Miller. Because spoilers, they were the only one that survived the last one. So spoilers about that one. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. You can see the rating right next to me. I thought this was fucking terrible. It was just not as fun as the first one. The dialogue is way more insufferable. I don't know, man. Like I said before with Candyman, movies like this that just continue to outright insult the audience's intelligence are just, I don't know. I'm kind of sick of it, and I just don't have much time for them anymore. We're not dumb. The audiences aren't dumb, so I don't know why you are feeding us this dialogue when it's clearly we can see on the screen that particular thing is happening, and then you need to tell us afterwards that is happening. Like, we're not fucking. I don't even think even mainstream audiences they're not dumb. People aren't stupid. Not this stupid, especially. I had a very frustrating time with this one. I really didn't like it. Because the thing is, I kind of liked the first one. I thought it was pretty fun. The rooms in this one are just not as good as the first one. Not as creative, in my opinion. But the thing is, they're setting this up for a franchise. And I'm not going to lie. I feel like they're pulling a Saw franchise thing here. And there's going to be like 7 fucking more of these. So get ready for more of those. Yeah, nah. Not good. Not good. Next up is Ride the Eagle. Directed by Trent O'Donnell, partly written by Jake Johnson. It stars Jake Johnson, Susan Sarandon, and this is about a guy named Leaf who lives a chill life with his dog. He's just kind of hanging out. He's in a band. He's chilling. He's smoking weed every now and then. But one day, his mother dies, played by Susan Sarandon, and because they weren't so close, he feels kind of indifferent. But then she leaves him a challenge of things and tasks to complete, and if he does all those tasks that she asks him, he gets to keep the cabin. And this is like this huge fucking cabin in the middle of the woods. It looks great. I mean, obviously the character himself would like love it there, and it's chock full of weed. I'll just spoil that. It's chock full of weed. Yeah, there's not much to say about this one. It's just another one of those heartwarming, sweet, life-affirming movies. It'll make you feel good afterwards. There's a really nice performance from Jake Johnson here. I particularly just love Jake Johnson in anything he's in. He's kind of like, he doesn't have a lot of range, but I still enjoy whenever he's on screen. He's kind of playing a Nick Miller personality again, like he does in New Girl, but still different. It's weird. It's still different. There's a really cool cameo that I won't spoil at all, but Darcy Carden shows up as well from Good Place, and she was sweet. Always lovely to see her. But there's a cameo, like I said before, that you'll probably want to check it out. And yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those movies that you feel good afterwards. Like you feel really nice, especially if you have a few drinks. Like you're just like, everything's gonna be all right. You know, I'm gonna ride the eagle. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It won't waste your time. It's a good one. Next, I checked out Free Guy, directed by Sean Levy. Stars Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, and Joe Keery, Taika Waititi. Ryan Reynolds plays a guy named Guy who's an NPC inside a video game. It's kind of like GTA Online. And one day he realizes that he is an NPC, and with the help of Jodie Comer's character, Molotov Girl, they try to save its world from its creator, who is played by Taika Waititi. You might have seen the trailers of this one going around. It's now playing on Disney Plus. I believe it came out on the 29th of September, I think. But it's now playing on Disney Plus. This was going to be a Fox movie, and then Disney got lost in the shuffle. And the pandemic hit, and it's just gone through a whole bunch of shit. Like, this movie feels like it should have came out ages ago, because I remember seeing a trailer for this back in 2017. I think it was 2017, and it really feels like it should have came out in that time, because there are so many outdated references, jokes in here that are just like, they're kind of just gone, dude. They're kind of gone and done. They're past. And like I said, this was a Fox movie, and then Disney bought Fox, and then it kind of just got like lost in the shuffle. And then we got hit with coronavirus, and it's been pushed, and now it's out. I'm coming off as a broken record here, but Ryan Reynolds just plays Ryan Reynolds. And if You can feel how you want to feel about that, but that's what you're getting. Ryan Reynolds is playing Ryan Reynolds. Ever since he has played the Deadpool character, he's pretty much playing the same character again here. I feel like that kind of role is like done so much for him, but also has hurt his chances to have range, because he has pretty much played the exact same character in every single film he's been in since. And that is what you're getting here. Just like I expected from the trailer, this movie's kind of just fine. It's okay. I will say I did actually like the story between Joe Keery's character and Jodie Comer's characters, like in the real world, their connection. I thought that was good. Ultimately, I just felt like the movie was really hollow. Like I said, there's outdated jokes and referential humor that I'm just getting quite tired of at this point in these movies. I'm just not feeling it anymore, I don't think. I'm not in for it. And for a film that is pushing the message of the little guy beating the big corporate giants, it's all a little ironic that this movie comes from Disney, and they just can't help but push so many fucking references into the final act that are just Disney ads. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. in the end, I thought it was fine, I guess. I will say the cameo was surprising, but it doesn't help the rest of this movie. But, yeah. Not much to say on about it. If you liked Free Guy, that's okay. That's fine. My housemate loves Free Guy. He loved it. But I myself, I'm just not in for these kind of movies anymore. I don't think it's just not it's not my thing. Next up, I want to talk about a great movie that I checked out. Oh God, this fucking movie's a movie. Blowout. Directed by Brian De Palma. It stars John Travolta as a movie sound recordist, currently working on B horror movies. And while he's out recording sounds one night, he experiences a car crash and works to figure out what actually happened. So he's like solving a mystery using the tools at his disposal. This movie blew me away. Like, holy shit. I haven't seen many of Brian De Palma's movies, but after this, I think I'll seek out more of his movies. I've got Sisters on my Horror-October challenge anyway, but just when you think you've seen everything throughout this movie, Brian De Palma finds more ways for our protagonist, John Travolta's character, I forget his name, but to solve the mystery even further, like to use more tools, and the ways that he uses ways that we, the audience, might not have thought of, but it makes so much sense to the protagonist because of, like I said, the tools at his disposal. There is a scene in this movie where Travolta's character uses both sound and picture to create a short film that just fucking blew my mind. Like, as a filmmaker and as a movie fan, even I was just like, this is just fucking incredible. Like, throughout this whole fucking movie, I was just sitting there going, holy shit, this is amazing. This is what I want to watch. These are the movies that I come to see, show up for. Like, you didn't have to show up for this. I watched it on Criterion, but dude, this is it. These are movies. Oh man, it also just joins my list as one of my favorite endings of all time. Period. But it's bittersweet, but so goddamn solid and satisfying. And you just watch the movie. It fucking finishes. The line happens. I'm not going to say the line because I don't want to spoil it. But the line happens. It cuts to black, and you're like, that's the film. Like, oh my God. If you haven't seen Blowout, fucking check it out, man. Like, I think it's still on. Oh, I think it must have left because it was part of the neo-noir stuff on Criterion. But, man, if you ever get your hands or your eyes on Blowout, check it out. Brian De Palma, mate. I mean, this is better than Scarface. I mean, I haven't seen Scarface in a while, but already I was like, this is better than Scarface. This is incredible. This is so good. Why can't movies be like this? How? Thank you so much, guys, for checking out the Everything I Watched segment for September. If you like what you saw here, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and watch all these movies to form your own opinion. Maybe you like Free Guy. Maybe you liked Candyman more than I did. Definitely check out Blowout, like I said. All of my socials are in the description down below. I'm streaming on Twitch this Saturday, 8 p.m. I've been doing it all month so far. 8 p.m. Saturdays and Tuesdays. We're streaming Dead Space. I'm a person that's very much scared of a lot of things, and playing this game has been quite riveting, quite invigorating. and we're having a great time over there. We're having a fun time getting scared together. Watch Blowout. That's it. Have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.